Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. My name's Wood, and in this series we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget. It's day 22. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks for joining me again. Made a lot of progress overnight and into today with the free-to-play especially, also with the budget account. One thing on the is before I forget, we have a bluish green border. If this is the first time you're joining us on this series, hello. We have a bluish green border around the free-to-play account, no border around the budget account. So budget looks like this, free-to-play looks like this. So if I go back and forth too many times, all you have to do is look up at your screen and you'll know which account I'm on. Sometimes I'll be talking about one or the other. Let's go into some news also. We have some exciting events coming a few hours from now. General news. Yeah, so we're having a 2x weekend this weekend for Sacred Shards. And we've got, and that starts Thursday 9 UTC, which, check your local listings. From the time I'm recording this, I think it just starts right after CBC is over. So they're giving us an extra day on the 2x weekend for Sacred Shards, and each day there will be one of these different. Yeah, so every day there will be a new faction unity champion. And so we're going to have to go through and decide what day we want to summon. On these new accounts, the best time to summon is 2x weekends. We're not ready to do a fusion yet, and that's the one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is that if we do pull our three, we'll have 3 Sacred Shards on each account by the time we're ready to summon this weekend. And what I'm worried about is that if we pull those 3 shards on each account, that may prohibit us from doing a fusion if there's a good fusion coming up. So I'm a little nervous about it, but a 2x weekend really is the best time to summon shards. Some people think that a 1+1, a pull one get one day is better, and that only really applies if you're at Mercy, and I don't like to do those events anyway because you usually just end up getting a couple of useless legendaries that you're not going to build, maybe to fill up your faction guardians or something, and then what ends up happening is you don't have another event going on that gives you rewards for pulling those shards. We are also having and this to me, this one's kind of a wait and see. We're going to have a Wixwell's Path, and these path events it just depends. They give key coins for doing different things throughout the game, and I think this one, if I remember right, I read somewhere that it was going to be champ training and summoning. A lot of times they include summoning, and summoning is where you get your greatest number of points. And pulling 3 sacreds usually gets you quite a few points for these things. I know if they include a Wixwell Soul in this one, I'm hoping it's a 5-star for my main account, but if they include a Wixwell Soul for this one, obviously we're not going for that. But these path events usually have quite a few good rewards in, and summoning 3 sacreds, that should give us quite a few points, but that's a wait and see. We'll have to check back tomorrow, 8.5 hours from now, and see what that's going to be like. But I think that's kind of an exciting event, and we're going to have to go in and look, like I said, and see which of the faction unity champions. Now the faction unity champions, if you don't know, they aren't in the regular pool to summon for shards. So most of the time, if you're summoning shards, you don't even have an opportunity to get one of the faction unity champions, and they're only available in some special events. And so this weekend will be a good time to do that. You see, normally when you do sacred shards, you only have a 6% chance of getting a legendary and a 94% chance of getting an epic. But that chance of getting a legendary doubles on these weekend events on a 2-time. So we'll have a 12% chance to summon a legendary, and that's a lot better odds. Obviously, it's double. It's double the odds. But I think for both of the accounts, we're going to want to get, and even if we get 3 epics, there's a pretty good chance that at least one of those epics would be something useful for the account, or for both accounts, actually. So let's go in and check find some mystery shards, and very rarely is there any good gear. That one's not terrible, but in the crit rate set, it doesn't really have the stats we would want. If that was maybe in a speed set, that would be one we might want to pick up. Crit rate gloves, 5-star crit rate gloves with speed. I'm going to have to think about that one. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about that one. Knowing that we had the 2 times Sacreds coming this weekend, that motivated me to go into campaign and finish 3-starring Brutal, which gave us another Sacred. You'll see here on the free-to-play count, we've got 2 Sacreds, and on the budget, we've got 3. And that's because on the free-to-play, I've been stuck on this mission to fuse Justiciar. Justiciar. I keep saying Justiciar. That sounds right to me. If I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. So I'm stuck on this fuse Justiciar. I spent almost 3 days farming 12-3 in campaign trying to get a Diabolist, the first Diabolist on the account, and barely got her a couple of hours ago. I kid you not. It took so much energy. I have never seen that many runs happen. I mean, there's a lot of times you're not looking for a Diabolist. They just show up, and when because 12-3 is the stage. If you don't know, 12-3 is the stage of campaign that we farm usually when we're doing champ training events or whatever. We go in here to stage 12-3, and we just run food champions in those 3 slots, and we have 1 campaign farmer. And I ran it hundreds. I don't know how many times I ran it, and finally got a Diabolist. So then I needed. So now that gives me a Diabolist, and it gives me a War Maiden to fuse Justiciar. Now I need an Heiress and a Spirit Host. So I go into So I go into Palace of Arabia 6, stage 6 here, and then I ran in the boot stage, in stage I ran three runs. Gave me an Heiress. And then so I had the Heiress now, and then I went back to the Durham Forest to get a Spirit Host. You can you can always see which ones are available, which ones will drop. And we did finally get a Greybeard to drop, which is good. We hadn't had a Greybeard on this account yet. But yeah, the Spirit Host has not dropped yet. I have had one. I did feed her. I take responsibility. It's all my fault. But so we're running Durham Forest now in campaign. I'm just running 3. I'm not trying to get boots for this gear set. It's the crit rate gear set, and I have found crit rate gear set to be useful if you are using crit damage gloves and you're having a hard time getting your crit rate when you're kind of early to mid game. But I usually just keep the pieces that are just really good, that drop from Dragon, or I think, is it Dragon or Ice Golem, the crit rate? Now I don't remember, but I'll look. I'll go in and look. But yeah, we've been running this stage of Durham Forest to try and find a Spirit Host. So I'm hoping that since you've joined me, that'll bring some luck, and on this run that we're watching right now, a Spirit Host will drop. So we're hoping for that. So that's a Greybeard right there. Greybeard can be some pretty good control. For a rare, he's a pretty decent rare. A lot of the farmable rares can have some utility in the game, especially if you're early. Okay, you didn't bring me luck. I didn't get a Spirit Host on that one. It'll be okay. So I'm just going to keep farming that stage until I get a Spirit Host. Then I'll fuse Justiciar. Then we'll have our 3 Sacred Shards, and then there's a bunch of missions after that. I went through on the budget account, and you see I'm already in quite a few missions in after the Fused Justiciar. So I'm just trying to catch up. The free-to-play is just trying to catch up to the mission stage that we're on here. We can't do this one until tomorrow, I believe. Or maybe, is it Spirit Keep today? Let me look. It is Spirit Keep today. So we will be able to do that mission today. So that'll be good. And that'll get me caught up. Well, hopefully. I can't remember if there's another. I think there's another mission ahead. So we're gonna be time gated by when the potion keeps are open. I think the magic one is before this mission, if I remember right. I did it yesterday, and so we're gonna be time gated a little bit, and so we're gonna be out of sync with the missions a little bit, but that happens. Sometimes you just get luckier on one account than another. I'm not attributing that to the monthly budget or anything. Okay, let's go through the faction unity champions. I'm not going to read all of their kits. They have some really cool skills, really cool kits. It's going to take a while. There's 4 of them so far in the game, and they just have some really interesting, cool mechanics. This one's Aislinn, the Stalwart. Cool design. They all have this banner behind them, behind their heads, and indicates that they're a faction unity champion. So he's cool design. He has some really. He has one of these skills that he has that it strips all the. He places a big shield based on his defense. I think it was his defense that the shield is based on. Oh no, it's 30% of his HP that the shield is based on. And then he has this other skill where it strips the shields off, and however much shield there is, that's how it calculates the damage. And I've heard it's not the best, as far as damage goes, but he's very good. He gets better with the more Bannerlords that are on the team. He has good protection for the Bannerlords on the team, and if you have 3 Bannerlords on, that maxes out the benefits to them. But it's cool skills, and he provides a lot of protection. Fina, I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion for me that Fina is my favorite of these 4. She is, the buffs that she puts on, you can do more damage if they get stripped off. It increases turn meter. There's just all kinds of benefits that she has for a high elf team. The problem is who do you surround her with in the high elves? But I can imagine some scenarios where you could have some really cool teams with high elves, depending on who you have on your roster. And I really like Fina that way. Sacred Order, we have Falmund Mornsword. He's pretty cool too. He has this thing where if you build him slow and there's enough turns taken, he doesn't take any damage. I think it's 10 turns. I'd have to find which skill it is. Maybe it's his passive. Yeah, it decreases the damage taken by this champion by 10% for each turn taken by an ally or enemy before this champion's next turn. Resets at the end of this champion's turn. So you could make him slow and make sure that the teams are taking a bunch of turns, and then by the end of that he would be taking no damage. But then that resets when he takes a turn anyway. But he hits really hard based on how many turns have been taken also. So it's cool. I have him on my main account. I was very lucky and pulled him on a prism shard when we had those, and I'm still building him. I haven't really tested him very much yet. I'm still in the process of running him through Minotaur and getting his masteries done and everything. But yeah, so I'm debating on how to build him on my main account. But he's very cool, and the thing that I was wanting to look at, because our starter champions on both of the accounts are Sacred Order with Ethel, it might benefit us if we summon on that day for the Falmouth. I'm not expecting to get one of those. It's only a 10 times greater chance if you pull a legendary, which I think it's between 4 and 7% chance, and that's assuming that you pull a legendary in the first place, which I'm not. That you can never take that as a given anyway. So I'm not taking it as a given, but I want to summon at a time that gives us the best chance of getting the one that we want. I still think Fina is better than Falmond, but because our starter champion is Athel in Sacred Order, maybe that is something to take into account. But as both accounts evolve, though, I don't think we're going to worry too much about which starter we started with. We're going to pull all of the starters at some point through Ancient Shards anyway, and they're going to become irrelevant after a certain period of time. So I think I probably won't take that into consideration, but I thought it might be worth throwing out there. And then this other one for the barbarians. Which one is he? Oh yeah, Gregor. Dune Lord Gregor. Designs are always so cool on these. I love his crown and his tats on his bald head. And got the little mohawk going there. Just so cool. Dune Lord Gregor. He's the one I know least about, so let's go through this just a little. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing Provoke for one turn. That doesn't book up more than 50, so it's kind of an okay Provoke, but not very good. The Aesolin one has, I think on his books, up to 75% chance of placing a stun. Provoke can be more useful because you can use it in Hydra, but only on the one head. But yeah, I don't know. It's an okay one. Attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by one turn, and increases the duration of all ally buffs by one turn. And that's on a three turn cooldown. He's a buff extender, but he also decreases enemy buffs by one turn. That's a cool skill too. That's sort of like I think that's like a Godseeker Aniri skill. I think she has a similar skill to that. That's cool. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. So that would be a pretty decent shield. It looks like you can build him with pretty high HP, although, yeah, it's not the highest, but he's defense based anyway. And then places a 50% increase attack buff and 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Decreases the cooldown of all ally skills except this champion's by 1 turn. Oh, that's nice too. Yeah, so if he's extending buffs and decreasing the cooldown of skills, that means that they're going to be able to keep the buffs up. If you've got at least one other member of your team from barbarians, they'll whatever buffs you have on your team, you'll be able to keep those up. And then with 2, fills the turn meters of all allies by 20% whenever you use this skill. It's on a 4-turn cooldown though, after it's booked. And then with 3 faction allies, he activates an instant turn effect on the ally with the highest crit damage except this champion. Wow, that's cool too. So you're giving an extra turn. So every 4th turn of yours, you're decreasing cooldowns of all of your allies. If you've got 1 ally, or if you've got 1 barbarian ally, if you've got 3, you're actually giving a turn to whoever has your highest crit damage, which you assume is going to be your nuker. So they're going to get an extra turn every 4th turn. So in a long fight, you could see that would add up to quite a bit of damage. And then his passive, when attacked, has 20% chance of placing a provoke debuff on the attacker for 1 turn, occurs once per hit. That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool skill too. Yeah, there's a couple of barbarians that have a similar type thing, like Atur, I think, has that. And yeah, that's kind of a cool skill. So when you're facing maybe the which head is it? I can't even remember which head it is on Hydra, but the one that you can provoke. If he attacks this champion, the Dune Lord, then there would be a chance of putting the provoke back on him. And then with one ally, allies deal 25% more damage to enemies under stun, sleep, fear, true fear, provoke, freeze, and petrification debuffs. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, only one will activate. So putting more damage on enemies under those debuffs is big if you have that kind of control from other members of your team, especially freeze, because freeze limits how much damage you can do. I think it's 25%. So then that would take away the penalty that freeze usually has to your damage. With two faction allies, allies ignore 50% of the target's resistance when applying stun, sleep, fear, true fear, provoke, freeze, and petrification debuffs. So if you've got control champions on your team, like Husker Rule, for example, that places stun, he would ignore resistance on the enemy. And then with three allies from the faction, when counterattacking, instant effects and debuffs placed by ally skills cannot be resisted or blocked. Wow. So you might be able to mess with your builds a little bit and put less accuracy on them if you know you're building a team that has three allies. It'd be, I think this is going to be interesting over time to see what people come up with on team compositions to be able to maximize the benefits that you get from these faction unity champions. And like I said, there's not very many people that are going to have these. There's only certain events where you can even pick them up. They're not coming out of just regular shards on regular days. So this will be kind of a cool weekend, and we'll cross our fingers and hope that we get some luck. But I think Fina is the most powerful of these. The problem is, you never know which champions you're going to pull from which faction. And so if we had a bunch of high elves that we could use with Fina on whichever account we're playing on, it would be really cool. But she becomes kind of useless if you don't have any high elves. But that same thing goes for any of the faction unity champions. If we tried to, for the Sacred Order, the Falmond Mornsword, if we tried to go for him, we already know we've got one of our level 60s already in Sacred Order, so it might be worth considering. Good, we get to get rid of a red dot. I love it. And we've got all the commons and uncommons in Sacred Order now. So now if we get a red dot on Sacred Order, we'll know it's at least a rare. I love getting rid of the red dots. It's something's in there. All right. So yeah, I think still Fina is probably the most powerful of the faction unity champions so far. So I think what we'll do, like I said, I'm not taking it as a given that we're going to have a chance to get her anyway. I think we should probably try and go for it at a time when we get the best chance of getting the best faction unity champion, and then we'll hope that in the future we'll pull champions that go with that faction unity champion. So that'll be from 9 UTC Saturday to 9 UTC Sunday. Yeah, so we'll wait to pull our sacred shards until that Saturday, that'll at least give us the chance to get the one that we want, the faction unity champion that we want. And like I said, I don't have high hopes. The 10 times is not good. Even if you do pull a legendary, the 10 times isn't that much better of a chance. But like I said before, also, you don't have a chance to get these faction unity champions from regular shards anyway, usually. So this will be a unique weekend for that. We were able to do some clan quests on both of our accounts. It's something that, it's funny, I hadn't really thought of it much. It's something I don't miss on my main account, but for some reason I hadn't gotten into the idea that, yeah, we can do clan quests on on this clan. And I just took a couple. I think I took one expert for each of us, for each of the accounts. Actually, maybe I already did one. Yeah, I did. So I did 2 of the expert quests on the budget account, and I took 2 on the free-to-play also, and I already finished 1. on the free to play, I still have this one to do, the get a first turn in Classic Arena Battle 30 times. So that's pretty easy. I've dropped down to gold 2. I have a one-man defense in, so I drop down to gold 2 and I go in and do my fight, and I will get the first turn on this one. I have no doubt that my fastest champion is faster than this one. Yeah, so that one counts as one. So through Monday, when the faction quests reset, I have to get 30 of those. So that one won't be a problem at all. So we'll go through and we'll take care of those. But yeah, for some reason I hadn't even considered that I could do faction quests yet. But yeah, it's no problem. We can get in there and we can pull a few of those quests and start building up our clan gold so that we can start purchasing things in the clan shop here. It's a good idea to hold on to some of this. And then we'll probably try and get into a clan that has more of these unlocked. I think for our size, maybe getting into a level 9, hopefully, clan, so that we can at least start buying fragments of Yakarl and Yannicka. I think Yakarl is the one you go for first. Yakarl, I found Yakarl to be very useful. That freeze that he has, and then he also has turn meter. So he can be used in both normal and hard Fire Knight. And in several other places too, like Spider. You can put the freeze on in Spider. And I found Yakarl to be useful, and he hits pretty hard too. So I actually like him. Yannicka, I haven't built one of the crazy Yannicka teams for Hydra, but I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that going. But I think she can be useful. But and she does have some ignoring shield. I mean, that's why she works well in the Hydra team. But so people do use her in arena sometimes. Shield with like bolster sets and stuff have become pretty popular, although not as much lately in arena or live arena. I haven't seen too many Yannickas being used in live arena, but Yakarl, I think in PvE content, Yakarl can be good. I've even seen him in PvP before. I mean, lower level, but I actually like him quite a bit. So I think he's the one to go for first if you start purchasing fragments of something. But yeah, we're going to need to get into a bigger clan that has more of these unlocked. And then we also, I didn't do this on the budget account, but on the free to play, while I was doing some other things on the budget account, I was trying to see how far we could push in Doom Tower, and I got through stage 5. I'm kind of stuck on 6, and I'm stuck on the secret room. The secret room is just rares, any rare champions, and I think I just need better gearing in these rares that I have available to me. But I think once the gear's a little better, I think we can get that secret room and start collecting our fragments for, I think, Archmages first, and then I'm just going to keep trying to push as I make improvements, but. I was surprised to be able to this early. We're 3 weeks in now. We've completed 3 weeks, and was able to get some headway here in Doom Tower. This stage 2 is kind of a dirty trick for early game players. It's all force champions. I had to run it a few times to get some good RNG. Yeah, I did have to manual most of the fights because nobody wants to use their skills the right way or attack. Who needs to be attacked next. You watch turn meters of the enemy and stuff, and you try and spread your control abilities out or buff steals, or we're pretty fortunate to have the Adeline on the teams, and on the free to play we've got the Padma, and she's got a buff steal as well. So any enemies that were putting up any buffs, we were able to either steal those, or if we had debuffs, with Adeline, she could exchange it sometimes, and so that was helpful. And then just with Ethel doing damage and Taragi protecting the team, we were able to get through these stages. And I know it's not that big of a deal, but this early, I think it was pretty good to be able to get through those. Yeah, there's a Rosh card, the tower on the 3rd floor, and the thing I found out that I wasn't sure about, when she crits on her A1, she puts decrease attack on the whole team. And And I found out that even if you're attacking somebody who has block damage, this, for some reason, it's funny, I hadn't really even thought about it, but it still counts as a critical hit even though they're not taking any damage. And so it still puts the block or the decreased attack on. And so that was just something that I wasn't sure about, hadn't really thought about too much. But when I faced the situation, I thought, was this going to work? And it does. So, but yeah, if he gets a turn on that third floor, he puts block damage on his whole team for 2 turns. And so you've got to survive, 2 turns of them not taking any damage. And so that was a little bit tricky. I lost my Taragi because he took too much damage from protecting the team. But yeah, we got through 5 stages. I felt pretty good about that. So we'll 5 floors of Doom Tower. So we're going to keep working on normal Doom Tower, see how far we can get. Floor 5 has a Mortu Macabre on wave 3. If you don't know Mortu Macabre, he has this crazy passive where he has a secret skill that unlocks. I think it's 20% of the time when he gets hit, and he does this hellacious hit on your team, or not your team, but on one of your champions. And he usually picks the most crucial one. I think he picks whoever has the most crit damage or something. And if he kills him, he puts block revive on. And it ruins your whole day sometimes when you're facing a bunch of Mortus in Doom Tower. So so I was happy to get through that one too. Usually you try and avoid hitting him until you know you can kill him. And so it was kind of cool to be able to do some Doom Tower. I was excited about it. We also forged some perception gear on the budget account to take care of a quest. There was a quest there that you had to forge a certain number of pieces with, I think, the epic that had speed. Oh no, it was for it was a clan quest. Yeah, clan quest. It was to forge a certain number of epic or legendary pieces with speed as a substat. And I kind of lucked out, materials wise and everything. We got a few good pieces here. So there's one with speed. They're all 5-star. I don't have any. I didn't have enough materials to make 6-star pieces, but that's pretty good. It's pretty good perception gear for this early. There's speed there, speed and crit rate on that one, on that helmet. That's good. And we didn't luck out with the shields as much, although there's speed and accuracy on this one, but it's only a 4-star. And we got speed and crit rate on these gloves. That's big, early game. And then, let's see. We do have speed on this one, but it's a flat stat HP. Speed on this flat attack. And crit rate on that resistance. Yeah, we don't have any speed boots in a perception yet, but yeah, that was kind of cool. I thought, oh, this won't be too difficult of a quest, but turned out we used quite a few of the materials. But I thought since it was CVC, we were going to get points anyway. I thought I'd go ahead and do it. But the problem is the number of CVC points that we're scoring right now doesn't matter too much because these guys have got quite a lead, and I don't think they're going to give it up. It's going to be party time in France tonight, it looks like. So yeah, I was hoping that we'd be able to score enough points to at least get one ring, a reaction ring or something. But you can see, my 2 accounts here are scoring the bulk of the points, and there's a couple of other guys that are scoring some good points, and then, then it falls off a lot, and we just don't have that many, active members of our clan. So yeah, this is just one I joined. I found it, I joined it. It was an open one that anybody can join. So we'll probably be leaving it pretty soon. Clan boss, we are at, let's see. So on normal, I'm now 1 king on the budget. I'm 2 king now on free to play, which is good. I was 3 king that a couple of days ago, so that's a lot more helpful. Oh, and on the free to play, we 6-starred Taragi. So that's been great too. And I also bought his masteries with the gems also. So he's all masteried up. There, now you can see that. So he's all masteried up. I can also do this. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I'm still learning. Please don't judge me. Yeah, so you can see his masteries there, and the War Master really helps. I mean, he's the top damage dealer on the free-to-play account on Clan Boss also. So yeah, you can see here we've got so 2 key on normal and 1 key for the budget account, and then I'm putting 1 key into easy just to get the top chest on that, and maybe give the other guys a fighting chance of putting it down to get 2 chests. And then I'm going to probably put another key into hard, just to be able to collect as many chests as possible. So yeah, we're working our way up on the free-to-play though to be able to put another poisoner in. I think that's going to be the main thing to give us more damage and hopefully. And I did start working on Fenshi on the budget account. So I think, did I get him 5-starred yet? No, but he's at level 40. So as soon as I get, oh yeah, I could 5-star him right now. I've got plenty of level 40 food here. So I'm trying to do as much of this stuff as I can while Clan versus Clan is going on, just to be able to push up and get some of these clan rewards. Yeah, so we would have to get quite a few more points to be able to get this milestone, but it's worth a shot, and I'll keep putting points in and try and work on it. But yeah, you can see I've got 500 gems. I got the gem mine open, just the first level. It's going to take another 1,000 gems to open it to level 3, and I did the same thing on the free to play. See, we've got the gem mine open there also at level 1. So, but you can see I've got significantly fewer gems on the free to play because I was pushing so hard to try and get that Diabolist, and now I'm pushing to try and get a Spirit Host. We'll get the Justiciar fused. I still go back and forth. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm doing both to cover my bases. It doesn't matter. And then I'll get some of those other missions done. On challenges, we're doing pretty good on challenges. We're on the last one for champions, and that's just going to be 2 more level 6 or 2 more 6 stars. So we'll do a Force and a Spirit 6-star next, and then winning a campaign battle with 4 level 60s, and then we're going to be done with champion challenges. With artifacts, we're on 9 of 10, so that one's going to be pretty easy. By the end of the week, we will have 3 Bannerlord as accessories. So we'll have a ring, we'll have an amulet, and we'll have a banner, and we'll be able to put those on our first 6-star Bannerlord, which on this account will be Stag Knight. So with Stag Knight, we'll be able to have all of the accessories on him first for sure. I could go on Spider and try and farm, but it's just not good gear at this point in Spider, and I think it would be kind of a waste of energy. So we're going to wait until we can push up a little bit further to at least to stage 10, which gives you the irregular amount of 5-star accessories from Spider. And then on dungeons, we're pretty much in the same place on all of these challenges and missions as much as I can with both the budget and the free to play. I wanted to kind of keep that as consistent as I could, because it would also indicate to me, hey, where are you having trouble in your account, and is any of it due to spending? And so far, none of that has been due to spending, because all we have on the budget so far is the raid card. So, but I wanted for the future for things to be pretty even, and then if I start pulling away in one area or another, like for example the Arbiter missions, I'm sure it's going to give us some kind of an advantage in Arbiter missions. At least I think it is. That's my guess. I just don't know what that advantage is going to be, and so that's why I'm really trying to keep everything even right now when I have some control over it, and then when I am going to start being able to push the budget account more, I'll be able to tell what of that is due to spending. And then I'll be able to show you, if you're interested in this experiment, this is what you're getting for this amount of money that you spend in this test. I know it's anecdotal. It's very anecdotal. It's a very small sample size, but I think it'll be a pretty good indication, and it's data. It's all data, and so I think it'll be a good indication as to what we've got, going. Yeah. So, and then these two will be done today. I mean, let's go do this one right now. So Spirit Keep, and you have to do stage 10. It's not stage 10 or higher. It's stage 10 on this one. And that's open. And then tomorrow Force will be open, and so we'll be able to take care of that one. So then we'll be on the last mission of the dungeons. And I think that one's a pretty simple one to complete. Yeah, Stagnite, level 50, he's kind of starting to hit a little harder, and he's starting to survive a little bit longer. I still want to put Lifesteal on him so that he survives longer for Clan Boss also. But yeah, once we get War Master on Stagnite, and maybe get Taragi built up a little bit more with his gear, and get Adeline built up. Well, maybe Adeline switched out with a Poisoner. If Taragi's going to be able to keep us more alive along with Lifesteal, I think we could probably take Adeline out and put a Poisoner in, and I think that will be good. Yeah, you can see I've got this got the Rock Tooth in there for the heal reduction. He does a good job. He's pretty good at the heal reduction thing. I just had him in the team because that was the quest I did, and he's not really built or anything, but it works. Adeline also can remove a buff if any of the bosses have buffs, so that's nice too. So that gave us that one out of the way, that challenge. So now we'll just have one more Force challenge, and then we'll be on our last of the dungeon state challenges, and then on Arena we're on the last one, and it's getting into gold, getting 10 classic arena battles in a row. So you got to be careful on that one, and then not face any fights that are too hard, and then win 10 classic arena defense battles in gold 1 or higher. The problem with that one, you can't control who's attacking you, so you don't even know when it's happening. It notifies you, and you go look at the counter. Oh, I got a gold arena defense, and it's really hard to win gold arena defense because, just like you, the person who's fighting you knows what you have, and if they know how to play at all, they shouldn't be losing on offense in classic arena. So this one's kind of tough. Sometimes it takes a while to get that one out of the way, and then 50 gold medals isn't too bad, and then stay in gold for 2 tier ranking periods, so for 2 weeks straight, and then upgrade 3 affinity bonuses to 5. Yeah, I mean, we've got a ways to go to get those, but that's, when we start getting the gold, what do they call them in here? Medals. So when you start getting more the gold medals, they're worth more, and you can start building up these. I think you have to have 3 at 10 before you get your Arbiter. So I haven't been doing those unless there's a quest. I mean, I've been doing classic arena battles, and I've just been saving the medals. So on both accounts here, I am going to just keep farming food, trying to level up my champions, trying to get, I think Fenchy's going to be the next one I work on the budget account, and try and get him 6-starred. With damage dealers, you definitely want to have them 6-starred. Plus he's Force Affinity, so it's going to make sense to have him my next 6-star, and then I'll only need a Spirit Affinity 6-star. I don't think it's going to be Hell Freak, although that'd be kind of cool, right? But we'll see what we pull this weekend. So I'm going to wait till Saturday and go on the Fina. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with my strategy of going for Fina because I think she's the best of the faction unity. Do you think it would be more wise to go for the Falmond, the Morn Sword, the guy from the guy from Sacred Order? Would that be better, or do you think I'm smart to try and go for the best faction unity champion? Even though I know it's not going to probably happen, but we're giving ourselves a chance. And so I think waiting till Saturday for me, that feels like the right move. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you have any comments about the series, about the experiment, if you have any questions, about something you're stuck on early game. Let me know if I can help. And thank you for watching. My name's Wood, and I appreciate you.